What's up, y'all? So
I'm back. What's up, guys?
we got the Dr. Gaspar. The bro Jason is back. So we're back with another one for you guys. This time we're gonna tackle the topic of like the hype
Versus
versus
the reality.
the reality. That's the simple version. Basically, when there's a toy that gets revealed, and
Or a collectible.
or a collectible, or
Just,
actually, a lot of this stuff can apply to anything in life, really.
Yeah.
It's because it's all mental, emotional stuff. This isn't just about the toys, but that's kind of what we're focusing on, since this is what we all are about and relate to. But like I said, that's like the simple way to put it. Basically, it's like, when something gets revealed, or this or that new item gets put up for pre-order, and there's that hype you feel for it, that wanting, and then however long, sometimes months pass by, and you actually have it in hand.
it's like 6 months, like 7 months.
Yeah.
Almost a year. You're like, it's a year out. Like, what? I just pre-ordered it. Great. Now I gotta wait.
Like right now, as we're recording this, SDCC is going on, and it's kind of ironic that we're talking about this now, because I previously just did the whole what are you hyped for? As far as SDCC reveals, which is, speaking of like months, sometimes it's like you'll see stuff at Comic-Con and it won't release for like a whole year or over a year later.
That's how they get the train going, because you see it there, right?
Yeah.
It's like any other trade show. You see it there, and you're just like, can I just give you my money now?
Exactly.
NECA, or
take my wallet.
Or,
take all my money.
Or that meme, like just
Exactly.
here, just take it all.
But then the time it takes from the reveal to the till you actually get it, a lot of that, I want to think the majority of that is the production, but you never know. It strategically could also be to build up that hype.
Yeah.
Build up that buzz on the internet, so when it finally does release, more people will get it than would if it was just available like right now. Right? Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah,
I actually just thought of that just now.
It makes complete sense.
That just came to me.
It's a strategic strategy about them. It's just like, all right, cool, we got it out there now. Oh, we got our pre-orders going. All right, now let's just make them wait.
Yeah.
It's just the anticipation that's what gets us going.
And it's it's more time for people to talk about it and get more people aware of it that maybe didn't know.
And then if those pre-orders get stuck on, like, they're like, oh, back order, then the person that didn't get it in, they're just like, man, what? As soon as it goes back live again, they're like, all right, cool, I'm getting my pre-order in. That's how they get them the second way.
That's
right?
funny is that you say that. That makes me think of the people, and you know who you are. I got some of you that are my friends know you have FOMO, fear of missing out. You will pre-order the hell out of stuff because of that fear of missing out. So, like, before we get more into it, I want to preface this by saying, like, going back to our previous about the whole hoarding thing, and
collecting.
Yeah, and even this topic, which is fairly connected. For me, I want to say, for me personally, I'm not trying to discourage anyone from collecting, because no toys, no life. Hello, you know me. That's toys are life, but just trying to throw out ideas and thoughts as far as like thinking about why you collect, what you collect, how you collect, how much you collect, and how much of it is really necessary.
And I'm right there with Mark, guys. I still collect too. There's stuff that I struggle with, like SDCC's going on this week. A lot of that stuff's temptation to me too. I gotta go through it like you guys, but at the end of the day, I gotta go. All right, what's really important, right? Do I want to sacrifice? To me, it's like sacrificing freedom, right? Do I want to put my freedom up every time I'm buying something? Like, you just gotta be more deliberate about what you're buying.
Yeah.
And if it's that thing that I was telling you guys the last video. It's if it brings you joy and value, then all for it, man. Do it. Go all in. But if you're, I'm just, he's messing with me as the doctor, but I was just wanted to spread some information. I wanted to help you guys out because it's what I go through in my life sometimes as a collector, as a person and an individual, right? And whatever I've learned, I'd love to share it with other people, because why not?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So, don't take it as like I'm knocking anybody as a collector, because again, I'm looking at myself in the mirror. It's just when it comes down to it, it's being aware. Seeing what you do, seeing yourself for what you are, and not being delusional. Not that I'm calling anybody delusional. So anyway, all right, let's jump into this. Do you have any opening thoughts on the matter?
For the hype and the reality?
Yeah.
All right,
yeah.
so, I mean, okay, so here's the thing with the hype, right? So they just brought out some new this stuff for Big Bang Theory, right? This last wave. I ended up getting the rest of that wave because I never got the OG ones because the OG ones are vaulted, and they're very expensive now. This one is cool because at least you get the whole cast. You're getting the whole cast. Like even Stewart, the comic book, owner, he's in there. That's cool. He should get one. And then SCCC brings out these ones that they just showed just recently where they're all dressed up in that one episode for the Justice League costume party night, right? It's cool, but to me, it just, I didn't jump on that hype. I was like, I don't need it.
What are those exclusives?
They're exclusive to Walmart, but they're shared with Walmart, right? And then, of course, Walmart, as a collector, it's tough if you're trying to get in the box the conditions of them because they get put in sorters, they get just demolished. They get straight demolished.
That's
And then the same thing for this one, but it's one of those blue chrome or that teal chrome. And unfortunately, like I said, I tried not to look too much into the hype because I was like, I did it 2 years in a row, and I was like, this stuff's gonna go live to that night or the day of. So I was just like, nah, I'm good. And then one of my buddies, he's like, hey, I was able to put one aside, or I found one, I put one aside for you. I'm like, okay, well, cool, man, thanks. Like they, people always do stuff like that for me sometimes because I vice versa. It's a favor thing, right? Like I help them out, they help me out. When they make sacrifices, I think about stuff like, well, if somebody's done so much to sacrifice me, what could you do for them? Not in general, like, hey, I'm just doing it, but not doing it out of kindness and the heart, right? I got a couple like gift cards for Starbucks. Like, hey, dude, here you go. Have something that's consumable that you won't have to worry about later on, right? You just drink the coffee, enjoy it, but like, damn, that was really cool of Jason to do that. It's just stuff like that, man.
There you go.
But that's how I felt with the hype and versus reality. The reality of the stuff that they came out, kind of like where I was at. I wasn't like, oh my god, like they came out right where I needed to be.
Okay.
I'm content with them.
All right. So for me personally, I look at it on a few different levels. When I say that, I mean the reality. Now, as far as the hype, oh man, I am totally one of those people who get super hyped for stuff. I'll see stuff and I'm like, oh my god, I can't wait. I was just talking about it in the SDCC reveals. And I don't think I haven't nerded out at like that, but when I actually did, that was my reaction. I'm scrolling through like Instagram and Facebook, and friends are sharing like, oh, look at this, and I'm like, oh my god, I need that hard. But that's the thing. That's just that hype. Because I know when they come out, for the ones that I actually decide to get, I know they're either going to be like, okay, I have this, I'm happy to have it, but then, okay, I put it in the collection, and then that's that. And then there's going to be a few things that'll be like, I actually get it, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. Yeah. I'm happy to have this. No buyer's remorse, even though if it was like something expensive, like that, which I'll get more into that later. So some things, thankfully, exceed like my original hype, and then sad but true, a lot of things are just like, okay, I have it now.
Yeah.
And I think we mentioned it. I'm not sure if it was just in talking or we mentioned it last time. Like for some people, it's kind of like along the lines of that thrill of the hunt thing, where it's about. So there's that buildup of hype. And then the thrill of the hunt, and then they get it, and it's just like, okay, then on to the next thing,
Yeah, because when you're out there hunting, right? I did those things for the pop. Sometimes you camp out in front of Target, dude. Like, and it's like, dude, they're not open for like 2 hours. Yeah, I gotta get that chaser. But and as soon as they open the doors, it's your adrenaline's pumping. You were like, yeah, let's go, and then you get it, and it's just like, okay, cool. Let's put this on the shelf. I got that now. What's the next one next week?
So
it's like, dude,
I don't know if there's some term for that, but the way I look at it, it's kind of like that kind of thing. That's just like it's kind of like a drug. It's kind of like they're just going for that high, for that fix. You know, hunting and then acquiring something is like the high, and then after that, it's not actually about having it anymore. It's not about enjoying it. You know. Yeah.
Dude, the way I now go about it, Mock, is like, I won't do the camping or anything, but I mean, like I think one of our local groups, like every once in a while when I do still hunt, if I do, I'll just do like a real quick pan shot of what they have in store, and then usually I'll sometimes post it on Facebook like, hey, I'm already here. You guys want to just send me some Venmo or PayPal? Does anyone need anything here? And I'm feel more. I don't know. I just feel more like content and like joyful to do stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just helping out other people because they're like us. They gotta work and they just I missed that. I'm like, well, damn, like, I'm already here. Like, is there something you need? Because I can help you out. It's not a worry. We just meet up later on or whatever, you know, because it's a part of that community and like we were talking about, just networking with people and I don't know that resonates better with me than just doing it on your own and going for it and you're just like, okay, cool. Now what?
That's cool. You know, it's really, and I know there's a lot of people like that. I know there's a lot who aren't. Whatever is cool, but it's cool to do that. There was a time where I was more able to do that. Some of you know, go way back with me in my earlier YouTube days. You know, I used to be all about kind of like, you know, showing what's out there, and like if you need it, I'll grab it for you. You know. Unfortunately, like it's funny because you mentioned the whole camping out and just hitting, you know, doing toy runs. It's like, man, I remember life before I had a kid. That was kind of like me every day, and I had no problem camping out for something. But it's like, you know, marriage and parenthood come into play. It's like, you know, I don't even really just get to go on toy runs anymore. Most of the time, especially if you follow on the Instagram, you know, when I have like store sightings, like 90% of the time, I'm not like out on a toy run. I'm going like running errands, you know, like I get groceries or, you know, I gotta go Walmart or Target for things that we need. But I'm like, okay, I'm here, so I'm gonna check the toys. But it's rare anymore that I get to just go out like I used to, hit up a bunch of stores, you know.
Hell, I do the same thing now. Like if you're going out to do errands or whatever, right? And I'm like, all right, do I have enough time to just go hit the toy aisle or the electronics because that's where they keep all the Funko? And I'm just like,
yeah.
It wasn't on the list. Let me just stick to my list. You know, all right, cool. That was less. That was like 5 or 10 minutes less. I could go do what I got to do the rest of the day. You know, and then I'm not worried because then if there is something there, I'm like, oh God, do I buy this or not? I guess it's just if you're like me, if that's a preventative step that you need to do, just it's not on the list. So just stick to your list. Get your stuff and skedaddle.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to do it. You know, just be more. It was kind of like we were talking about the collecting. Focus. You know, it's all about being focused in what you do. So back to the topic real quick though. I think in the last one I mentioned, and I know now because we looked it up just before this. I totally butchered that quote by Spock from the original Star Trek. And so it goes, you may find that having is not so pleasing a thing after all as wanting. It is not logical, but it is often true. So I can't say I actually really grew up on the original Star Trek, but I watched it a lot. I was a fan of the original Star Trek. I don't really remember that quote from when I was young, but I remember at some point hearing, I don't know if it was like on the radio, somebody was having a discussion. They actually played that quote, like the actual soundbite from the show, and it really stuck with me for some reason to this day. And I think it's largely because of that collector life, and that having hype for these toys, and you know, realizing a lot of things that I was hyped for, and then I'd have it, and I'm like, you know, it's like it's not as pleasing as the wanting of it. Like the wanting was strong. Yeah. Like it was really strong. Like I need that in my life, kind of strong. Yeah. And then when I had it in my life, it was like, okay. Some partly like okay, I have it now, on to the next thing, and partly just because it didn't really like amaze me. Like I was still happy to have it. It wasn't like, oh, okay, this is junk. You know, why did I want this? But it was just like it didn't live up to the hype that I had. I want to say I built myself. You know, it's not like anyone put that hype on me. I'm the one who built that hype up for myself. So I want to show a couple examples here. I actually could show a bunch of examples, but I just wanted to pull.
We wouldn't have enough time to show.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't think you guys want another hour-long video, or that would be like a 2-hour-long video. One thing, just a little side note. If you saw that, if you actually watched through it, maybe some of you just listened to it, and that's totally fine. Because essentially, what we're doing here, and there's somebody who was talking to me about it, and he actually referred to it as your podcast, not your video. You know, in a way, because we're just talking and it's not like hauls or stuff like that where it's really about showing. In a way, it is a podcast. So it's in a way, it's the kind of thing that you could just listen to. You don't have to sit there and give it your full attention. So
you can listen to it while you're organizing your collection.
Yeah.
Like minimalizing whatever it is you're trying to get rid of, what you want to keep, what you love, right? Just works out perfect.
Which I know a couple of friends who actually told me that's what they did. They just listened to it. They had it playing while they're doing something. That's totally fine with me. That's totally cool. You know, you're still giving it a listen. So anyway, without bringing in too many examples, I just wanted to show a couple examples. So these are 3 examples of things that when they were revealed or announced, I was super hyped for. Like super. I had previously missed out on the original release of this Darth Maul.
You never had that one, right?
No, well,
it actually came in a box.
In a box. Okay, no, that was a simple way to put it. I had it. Here's the sad thing. Here's a little side note. When the original Black Series came out, I was kind of into them, and Darth Maul was like my most must have, so I got him. But then, you know, keep in mind, if you're a collector of these, you have to remember there was a time where these were really new. And most of us had been collecting the 4-inch ones for years. So I was a little opposed to it. I was like, do I really need to collect another line of Star Wars figures? I've got tons. I've got boxes full of the 4-inch Star Wars figures. So I had them. I actually did have them. I ended up selling them. I kept them for longer than the return date.
No, was that one when you bought that one originally? Was it because of hype or because you really wanted that one? You liked
because it was Darth Maul.
It's Darth,
This is awesome, you know. So I got it because I wanted it, but then again, like I said, I thought about it and I was like, I decided against jumping into a whole other line because of Star Wars.
And that's the thing with Star Wars, even vintage to the Power of the Force, to all the stuff that's more current. 3 1/4 inch was always been the staple.
Since the original stuff in the 80s.
We're leaning a lot more towards Black Series and Marvel Legends 6-inch.
And
it's just the problem is with that is just it's the space. Those things just take up a lot of space.
So here's the thing. When it was revealed that they were going to be re-releasing him in this Black Series Archive series, super pumped. I was like, yes, I get a second chance on this Darth Maul. And then I got him. And then I'm like, so don't get me wrong, you know, at $20, because this concept for me applies to like your Marvel Legends and your Black Series. They're at the $20 price point. They're good figures, but they're not blow me away good, you know. But that still falls under the whole you get what you pay for thing. You know, it's almost like if money was no issue, I would rather have the SH Figure Arts version. Which that one I kind of feel would actually totally live up to my hype. Not only would I be content and pleased with it, I'd probably be really impressed with it. But for this, as a $20 figure, it still lives up to the value, but it's not as great as my hype for having it was. And so that's kind of the same with this Marvel Legends Jubilee, which, I fell in love with the character, you know, when she came out. I still have all those old comics, and then in the '90s cartoon, and I'm like, finally, I had the 4-inch Marvel Universe version. Like many people, I missed out on the original Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure version of her, which I don't mind now because this, even though it's still, I wouldn't say it's 100% true, but it's pretty much it's that '90s Jubilee. Again, it's like I finally have her, and it's still like for a $20 figure, she's really good. I have, so it's partly like, again, she doesn't really super like impress or amaze me, but she lives up to the value, of what you pay for $20. Although the one thing I would have wanted is Jubilee. You need like the effects.
So a lot of the other Legends fans were complaining about that.
Yeah,
I have that figure. I was complaining about that too. I thought like, if they give Dazzler hers, why couldn't they do that for Jubilee?
So many figures.
Just, give her the different color scheme. Like, Doctor Strange. I don't know how many different Doctor Strange figures got that effect, and I'm like, you couldn't.
Scarlet Witch, Enchantress,
and then
a bunch of them.
The different head sculpts. I didn't like the fact that just that head sculpt alone. Why did her goggles have to stay on? Why can't you take them off?
Yeah.
Some people that when they do the articulator or how you guys, like to pose them. In the comic book and sometimes in the movies, she has them not just above her head. She'll put them on her neck.
Yeah.
It's just those little things, but I mean, I get it. Like we were saying, it's a $20 figure, and I think I follow one dude on Instagram. I think Star Wars Junkie, Jason, I think it is.
Okay.
And he'll take those. He'll take like the Legends, and he does customs to them, the Black Series, because he's a big Star Wars guy. Star Wars Junkie. And when you do a custom off of a $20 base figure, he'll make it look like it's a figure. It's like $150, and that's pretty cool.
So he'll basically take, I want to say, I mean, not really, but a cheap figure and turn it into something that is like, that is what it's like. He brings to life the actual hype that someone would have for us.
He'll put the love of us, what we have as a collector and fan, right? Yeah, he's got the artistic touch and take the time and patience, and he'll make, like, you see it. You guys probably see it on all social media, like Facebook or Instagram. The guys that take like a Chris Evans head sculpt, right? The one that came out on Infinity War, and actually made it look like Chris Evans. And it's so small. It's minute.
That stuff is amazing. I feel that could be a whole conversation on itself. Like the people who do custom work. If you saw recently, I did for the first time a black wash, which I want to do more. But that's still nothing close to what some of these people, which is essentially art. That is artistry. It's toy art. It's just art in general. It takes insane talent to do stuff like some people do out there, and that's really cool. Taking these figures that are like just good or just okay and actually making them amazing. Which brings me on to like a figure that really, to me, something like this embodies the whole you get what you pay for thing. So if you guys are not familiar, the Mezco 112 Collective, this was the that Punisher, I forgot what exactly what it was called, but it was that exclusive. So this was technically my first 112 Collective figure. But even though I've only got him as an example, there's other figures that fall in the same category as him. Some SH Figure Arts. Excuse me.
It's a Revoltech, right?
Revoltech, Mayfex, basically all those import figures. These are figures that are like 50, 60, 70, 80, some of them 100 plus figures.
What's the most expensive that you've seen? I think I've seen one that go for like $250. That's like.
But are you talking about the retail price or like secondary market?
No, like retail price. I've seen some go up there, retail price.
Yeah, actually, like I've seen some Figma. But I mean, these are figures that they're that expensive for a reason. Like they're not the same size. They're like larger. There's certain special things to them. But yeah, there are some things that can be that much. And then if you get into like the whole thing about Hot Toys, the 1/6 scale figures, but then that's like a whole other kind of
Hot Toys or sideshow.
That's a whole other category. I kind of don't compare those to the smaller action figure lines. But anyway, like I was saying about the Mezco 112 Collective and all those other ones that I mentioned that I also collect. most of them, and especially this, like when I first got it, it's one of those things where, wow, I wasn't prepared for this. Like it not only met my expectations and hype that I had for it, but it actually surpassed it. So that's really cool. I mean, you again, it's you get what you pay for type situation, but it is possible.
It's very premium. I know. I knew of them when Mark showed it to me tonight. I was like, wow, that's a really cool looking, like, that's Punisher. That's lifted right from the books, and it looks really good.
But see, the thing is though, also on the flip side, I have gotten expensive figures that were like, it's not as impressive as okay. So so, and then one other example I want to show. Yeah.
So like, why is it right now when he's holding this thing up? You know what movie I'm thinking of right now? Tom Hanks in Big.
Boom.
I'm thinking of Big for some reason.
Look at that.
Like when he's in that playing with those big toys. It's Big all over again. Like,
so this thing, and I mean, definitely it's a you get what you pay for situation, but I don't think there's any lack of being impressed with this one. This was something. This, in a way, this is a grail of mine. This is something I'd wanted for a long time, and it took me a while to pull the trigger simply because of how expensive it was. But it's one of those things where it definitely lived up to the hype. Like, and I've mentioned in the last one, and I've said it so many times before. You want to check them out? It's heavy too. And it's actually really, really, really articulated. Even the fingers.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I'm geeking out with it. This is pretty dope. I want to
be wait, turn it around. Look at that. So what I was about to say was, you guys know I don't display my figures, but I have this guy sitting there, and it's one of those things where it's like every time I look at it, I'm like, damn.
Well, I'm thinking
that is
right
an
now,
awesome
like,
figure.
One shall stand and one shall fall. Like, come on, man! Like, dude.
It's just. I mean, the size does make a difference. We're not gonna get into that topic. I did not mean to turn it into that, but I mean just because of how much it stands out at how big it is. So I was saying I have him sitting there in this office room, and it's on the floor. Granted, it's on the floor, but every time I look, I'm like, damn, that is an awesome figure. Sure, like a lot of things, I don't really spend time playing with it, but just that it's there to see, and every time I look at it, I'm just as impressed with it like as the first time I got this guy. So that's really like one of those ones where the reality lived up to the hype. And again, there are a lot of things that don't, unfortunately. I'm guilty of buying a ton of stuff that it's just to add to the collection, but it's not like something I'm in love with.
Yeah, I've done it too. I mean, I agree. I agree with Mark, and he's not the only one. I'm pretty sure somebody else has watched it. Done it too. I've done it.
Which, I mean, that kind of goes back to the previous topic of like hoarding and stuff like that, and just getting stuff just to get stuff. It is what it is. Yeah. So. Yeah. All right. Well, anything else you want to add on the topic?
I think of anything else. If you guys watched it long enough, I mean, you can always do those little threads in the threads and leave comments if you guys have any ideas of what you might want to hear.
Yeah.
I can hit those up for you guys.
And going back to that again, I mean, for how long that one was, I really appreciate all of you who actually listened in, even if you didn't sit there watching, which realistically, that's okay. And especially took the time to comment. And shout out to everyone on Jason's Facebook, and if you're probably watching, all his friends and family who commented. Even if you're not watching the video on YouTube and commenting on YouTube, appreciate you guys checking out and listening to what we had to say. Those of you on the SMU Toys Facebook, because I posted it there too, and probably post this one there as well. Really appreciate it. Again, I don't know if we said at the end of the last one, this is something You know, I didn't know we'd be doing it again this soon, but hey, you know.
We'll try to bring in some other people with us. You know, maybe we'll go on site somewhere to get some other feedback. Get some.
Yeah. If any of you are watching and you want to join in, well, I mean, granted, you're local to Vegas, unless you want to fly in. Hey, I don't care where you are in the world. You want to come over, and any of you who've been watching SMU Toys YouTube, I've been saying it for years. Well, especially back in the early days when I had a large viewership. But you know, you guys, I treat you guys like friends, and I would say this: I don't care wherever you are in the world. You want to come over, dude? We'll get some pizzas. Yeah. We'll play some video games. We'll play with toys. You know, we'll make some videos. You all are welcome. But no, really, if you're local to Vegas, realistically, and you want to do something like this with us, you know, doors always open. Let me know. Let him know. Yeah. We're down. It'd be cool. The more, the merrier. You know, this isn't about us. I mean, this is us sharing our thoughts on these matters. But it's about all of us, you know. It's sharing our thoughts on these matters that that all of us as collectors can relate to, you know. And on the flip side of that, it's like I kind of touched on earlier, how kind of what we're talking about is not trying to discourage anyone from collecting, not trying to tell anybody stop collecting, just to kind of see it from all angles and perspectives. And we're just kind of presenting perspectives that I personally feel like not everyone thinks about, you know, because it's a reality of our collecting lives, but it's like not everybody wants to think about it, you know. And so in keeping with, like, if anybody wants to join in and kind of play devil's advocate and kind of like, you know, speak for the other end of things, to argue, so to speak, feel free. Yeah. You know, don't just comment. Again, if you're local, come on, let's do this. We have a whole roundtable discussion, you know. So we could go meet up at a restaurant or somewhere and just have a whole panel. Yeah. Why not? We'll have a Comic-Con style panel locally without an actual audience. Well, you guys, we'll get it all on video. That's right. So you guys can watch it or hear it. So, yeah.
Sounds good to me.
Anything else, man?
I'm good, man.
All right. Well, again, thank you for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you know, we provided a little food for thought for you guys. That's really all we're trying to do. I'm not really trying to change anybody in the way they collect, but just kind of, again, just have you kind of think.
That's just like with anything, just with the collect. We're not trying to change you. I mean, the only person who can change is you. If that's what you want to do, if you feel that you need to change stuff up, then we're giving you just that information to help you out.
Yeah.
If if there's something else you might need help with, then you can always put that in a comment or message one
of us.
I even said that. You guys just message one of us. I'm down to answer any questions that you guys might have about whatever.
If you know, to take it one step further, like if you have any topics or issues you want to hear us talk about, let us know. Let him know. Let me know. Message in the comments. Message him on Facebook. Yeah. Even wherever you're seeing this, Instagram, which I will have. I posted his Instagram on the previous, and his name is Jason Gaspar, which it was spelled out there. It'll be here too. If you're on Facebook, you can check him out there. You can check out his Instagram. You guys know my Instagram and Facebook, even my personal Facebook. So yeah, feel free. Any insight, anything you liked or didn't like, or again, suggestions, topics you'd like to hear us talk about, or questions you have that you'd like us to answer. So yeah. All right. So there you guys have it, dude. Thanks again for coming over.
Thanks for having me, brother.
You know, I gotta say, I really gotta thank this guy, because it's like, you know, he's local, but it's still like, you know, he's taking time out of his night. It's like, what is it? Probably like around 9 o'clock now,
something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Taking time out of his night. He had to drive over here, and he's gonna drive back and stuff. So, you know, I really appreciate that too. It's cool that we were able to do this again soon, or so soon, and we will do it again soon. Yeah. So there you guys have it. As always, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks so much for watching.